school teacher, Mr. Vaughn. If any of you know Mr. Vaughn, he is here. He believes in speaking out. He's very passionate about public education. He's very passionate about free and fair education for anybody who wants to be educated. And we're so pleased to have him here representing education and the cuts that they're trying to make to one of our greatest institutions in America. Come on up, Farrell.
Hello, Nevadans! I want to thank you all for showing up today. Your activism is a perfect example of what our nation's founders meant by political virtue. Your presence here is a warning to our representatives and provides inspiration to our fellow citizens. Are there any teachers here today? Thank you for your service and commitment to our children. I'm a retired teacher. I'm here to tell President Trump and the MAGA gang, keep your hands off our public education. President Trump's executive order to destroy the Department of Education is unconstitutional and will do harm to Nevada's public school students. Some claim that Trump's executive order is just a bureaucratic adjustment, but it's not. That's a lie. It's an assault on the very foundation of equal opportunity that is declared in the first three words of the U.S. Constitution. We the people. Public education is the great equalizer, the force that lifts a child from poverty to prosperity, from uncertainty to opportunity. It's a promise to our children that they will receive the help they need to achieve the American dream. But now, without federal oversight, that promise will be broken for many of Nevada's students. The elimination of federal support will be devastating to students with individualized education plans. 95% of students with IEPs attend public schools in our state. IDEA, or the Individuals with Disability Education Act, is a federal law that ensures children with disabilities receive a free, appropriate public education tailored to their individual needs from birth through high school graduation. IDEA supports 13% of Nevada's public school students. That means roughly 60,000 students with special needs will be impacted by cutting this program. Teachers will also be harmed by Trump's executive order. Federal programs and training for teachers to address the needs of special ed students have already been eliminated. The administration's excuse is that these were DEI programs. The irony is that diversity, equity, and inclusion is the model that our public school system has prioritized for decades. Eliminating the Department of Education's crucial role in supporting public schools will harm our most vulnerable students, disempower their teachers, leave parents and caregivers with no alternative education options, and cripple Nevada's public school system. Another group that will be harmed are students from lower income families. In 2021-2022, Title I funds provided Nevada schools with $161 million. That represents 16.2% of the state's funding for education. Governor Lombardo and the Nevada State Assembly cannot make up that shortfall. Nevada's rural school districts are especially dependent on those federal dollars to help keep their school doors open. Eliminating Title I support will push the families in rural communities into an educational crisis. Another group of students that will be impacted are GT, or gifted and talented students, who will lose access to courses that will help them advance their knowledge. In fact, the funding for National History Day was just cut. And it's an important program that my brilliant wife utilized in her GT classes. Also, the We the People program, a constitutional issues course that I coach, lost the funding for teacher training. And what about students in career and technical education, or CTE? Will they continue to be taught skills required to attain a high-income job if federal support is destroyed? So much for college and career readiness. But the damage doesn't stop there. The cost of higher education is unattainable for many in our state. Eliminating the Department of Ed will completely undermine the Pell Grant program and federal student loan assistance program that so many low-income students rely on. How many aspirational, intelligent, hard-working Nevadans will be forced to abandon their dreams of a college education because they cannot afford the cost? An average of 1/3 of students attending Nevada's systems of higher education received a Pell Grant in 2023. Eliminating those financial incentives would mean that tens of thousands of students in our state could lose their ability to attend a community college or university. Since 1980, the Department of Education has been committed to the mission that every student in the nation has the right to a free and appropriate public education. There are many reasons why powerful interest groups want to destroy the Department of Education. Some politicians at the state level want to return to the time when they determined which groups received a fair and appropriate education and which did not. You know, make America great again. Some want to destroy public education so that religious schools will be able to access your taxpayer dollars and tear down the wall of separation between church and state. Others want to privatize education and access taxpayer funds to profit from a private school system, while other free market fanatics want the government contracts to sell school districts their canned curriculum and instruction models. I fear that with the elimination of the Department of Education, my grandchildren and all of the other public school students in Nevada will not receive the educational support that they deserve. So in conclusion, I'm asking every one of you here today, contact your federal representative, your senators, and your governor, and tell them that you demand that they keep their hands off of our public education. Thank you.
Farrell, Vaughn, everybody stand up for our teachers! Woo!